And check this out, bench right for your body type. Not every bench press is made for every arm length or shoulder construct, right? So everybody's gonna be a little bit different. Make sure to check out the modifications so you get the most out of the bench press for you. So check this out. Obviously, you know, people have different limb lengths, and some people have very, very long arms, right? And also, like when you look at, you know, the shoulder girdle, which is scapula, humerus, collarbone, right? All of those should be able to move through certain ranges of motion for it to be healthy for the shoulder. So for everybody, just the straight up barbell bench might not be the best fit for them for pressing. So let's go over 5 different modifications and for different body types that could work. And so if you have really, really long arms, by the way, you know, even the position of like where you bench, right? You might want to go, you don't want to go too wide, because if you go wide and you're going down, it's probably going to stress the hell out of your shoulder. Now, you don't want to go too close either, right? So there's a sweet spot. But for people with long arms, you know, again, doing something like a barbell pin press where we shorten the range of motion. And there's a bunch of benefits here too, right? Because one, I can drop it faster. I don't have to work on the eccentric. I have to like create, I say, rate of force development out of that bottom, but I can control where that is. So if you look at this one, right, when I'm going to lift off regular here, control it down, and now I'm about 3 inches away. Now I could adjust that to be different, but now I can reset. Good thing here too is I can literally set up my good position, knuckles up, upper back nice and loaded. Now the great thing is I can then control exactly where I'm feeling my chest or triceps, what I want to work on, and not feeling my shoulder joint, and I can bring it down with time, right? So that would be, if that was a main lift, I'm doing, you know, 3 to 6 reps working on strength. Now, another variation is just the dumbbell floor press if I'm working more, building muscle, more time and attention, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Now, dumbbell floor presses, some folks will say, hey, you know, too limited range of motion, but when you've worked with trained clients or even yourself have had shoulder issues and regular dumbbell benches with full range of motion are bugging you, like this becomes a great variation. I can't tell you how many folks we built back up, had really good results with, I would say, pin presses and floor presses with dumbbells, and then kind of started lowering range of motion. So we'd elevate them on the floor, on the pad, so they get a little more extra range of motion and kind of work them back into a quality form, right? And they were getting really good results because they didn't have pain. Now, what I love, the setup sometimes for floor presses, if you can go really heavy, I'm doing them with 110, 120 pounds sometimes, and it's a wild setup. You can do it with a bench, but I really love these. They're called Mat Spotter, and like no promotion or anything like that. I just really love them. Like my buddy Tony brought them in, and you hang them on a barbell, and then now I can just grab it by here, lift off, right? Push that low back into the ground. Again, nice and control, limited range of motion. I still keep tension at the bottom. I can kind of keep whatever position I want, right? If I want it to be neutral grip, if I want it to be completely pronated, elbows out a little bit more, right? If I want to have this angle. Right, this would be, again, and then I just hook them back, right? So it's very convenient with these things right here. But also this is where I'm working my 8, 10, 12, 15 reps, more of that hypertrophy, muscle building, time and attention, right? But that would be one of my first kind of, I would say, modifications for somebody that has extremely long arms and we want their shoulder to feel good. They're still working in muscle, building strength and or muscle, one of these 2 variations. So try these out. So here, check this out. Like this is, you got 2 options. One is using the Fat Bar or using Fat Gripz, right? Which you can put on any barbell. And usually you think about a Fat Bar as far as like deadlifting, bent over rows, carries, so like working on your grip strength. But when it comes to the bench press, for people that have wrist, elbow, shoulder issues, right? Because there's a wider surface to distribute the force and load on your palms, it kind of carries down into the joints. You'd be surprised at how much better it can feel doing a Fat Bar for benching and using that. Like again, we've done that myself with clients for phases where it's just deloading some of their joints because of that wider surface. Obviously they can go heavy, they can go hard on this, and it just feels better, right? So I'm gonna just show you guys, obviously you'll see the positioning of my hand here, how much different it is, right? Like instead of being able to grab it this way, I'm just redistributing force here. Man, that feels so much better. Right, so again, that feels significantly better. And if you can't, don't want to invest in a fat bar, Fat Gripz, you can look them up. They're just a great tool because now you can just take them off, put them on dumbbells, put them on barbells, you put them on chin-ups and stuff like that. But in this specific scenario, I don't see enough people using this as a solution when, again, certain anatomy, things that are restricting them, length of arms, and this could be a great solution for Fat Gripz or a fat bar for your bench press. All right, so then we have basically using a football bar. Now, if you look at body types, right, if you look at straight bar, the need for, as I go deep into, I would say, the bench, the need for internal rotation of my shoulders, pretty high. And unfortunately, like if we could keep that humerus, right, which is the humeral bone right here, in place, great. But what happens a lot of times, this is why the side angle will help. Once you get here, you'll see it roll forward, right? And kind of stretch these ligaments out, get into a bad position. And we don't want that. I mean, a couple of things that happen. One, not great for stability of the shoulder, can injure yourself. But number two is like it takes tension off of the pecs, the chest, right? So we got double whammy. And so it's safer and definitely will feel better for a lot of people to do a football bar. And I got two variations. So I want to show you the original football bar, right? Which is just like these neutral handles here. You can see, right? So and then you can go wider, you can go narrower based on what you want to do. Now, we also have the kabuki bar, which I feel like is even better. It's the kabuki Kadilac bar. But main thing here, right? If you think about the football bar, I now do not need as much of that internal rotation, right? Puts my shoulder in a better position when I go deep, and it's less chance of that humeral head kind of, I would say, dumping forward, as we would say, right? So this, with the kabuki Kadilac bar, not only am I here, I kind of get this position, right? Which means like I'm in that scapular plane where I get the most range of motion, right? So I'm going to show you with this. And by the way, I think there's a huge benefit to, training at a gym that has a football bar or a Kadilac bar. Sometimes that's worth price of admission, again, if you got beat up shoulders, but you'll see it with this. Now, the other thing too, with the Kadilac bar, you can see that it has like this curve. So I can actually go deeper into the range of motion. Now, for me, I can get there. For some people, no, but just the handles, check these out, right? You can see, and we can actually turn them around as well, but you can see these positions that were built to have a better position of that shoulder as I go down, right? To me, this is the best feeling bar for when I bench. Right, so I can get extra range of motion, that shoulder's going, staying where it's supposed to be. And if you think about dumbbells, right? When I'm doing dumbbell bench press, most of the time I'm going to be here. Why? Because it feels the best, because it puts me in that W position. So that bar is placed like that. Now, if you're going to do a football bar, sometimes the stability component of the wrist takes a little bit of getting used to, right? Because it's not here, it's here, and the bar tilting. But once you get it down, again, it just feels better on the shoulder. So this is my kind of third option for improving your bench press, and better option for you based on your body type. Now, the fourth tip here is squeezing in and not out, or should I say breaking the bar. You've heard this a lot of times. Now, first of all, this goes for folks that are good at stabilizing their upper back. I tend to say that, like, hey, if you have a tough time stabilizing your upper back on the bench, then that's something we're gonna have to work on. But if you don't, then you'll be perfectly fine doing this. And especially if you want to build your chest, and a lot of times too, it helps with its centration of the shoulder joint. So again, for a lot of times in powerlifting, you've heard this thing, like break the bar, right? As you're going down, try to break the bar. Now, what I found with a lot of, especially general population folks and just people in general, when they try to break the bar, like they get into bad positions, right? And it doesn't feel that great. So I rather say, like, try to crush the bar in. Now, there's gonna be three things really that happen here. Number one is, the cross-sectional fibers of the pecs, they run, they adduct, right? So when I push it in, just like a fly, you're gonna feel that chest more, right? You're gonna put more tension on the chest, which a lot of people, they do bench press because they wanna build their chest. Also, pressing in, for many, is gonna help them centrate that joint, like that humerus in place, and it'll feel better, right? And it's not confusing. So again, breaking the bar for a lot of people, I've actually stopped using that cue. I tend to just say, reach with the chest, right? Get your chest to the bar, even for power lifters, right? Get your chest to the bar, roll on the way down. So, but in this case, what I'm gonna do is squeeze together. Now, I want you to try this because instantly you'll know the difference of how it feels and also feeling more in the chest. So I'm gonna lift off. Again, I'm bundling that upper back, like I said. And now I'm already starting to squeeze together. Man, pecs lit up. And I'm squeezing the whole time on the way down. And my shoulders feel better here too. So again, squeezing together. Woo! Wowzers. All right, so the thing is, you won't have to use as much load, obviously use a challenging load, but when I'm creating constant tension, even at the top is isometric, crushing together as I'm going down and up, I am feeling pec. Shoulder felt much better, because again, if you have kind of nagging shoulder stuff when you go with straight barbell on the bench, and you do this, for many people feel quite a bit better. So with that said, you can incorporate a couple of different things, right? Use this and don't go the full range of motion, stop a little bit shorter if you have long arms, but this could be a whole phase of you doing this and actually making your shoulders feel better, getting more out of your bench press for your chest if that's what you're trying to grow. All right, so this is one I've used for a long time, and it's been one of my favorite ones. And again, no matter what your anatomy is like, this works. No matter, again, you know, if you have short arms, long arms, your upper back scap is not functioning well, like this is what I like to do. So I like to do something that gets the upper back activated before I do my set, right? So think about band pull-aparts and different variations of band pull-aparts, right? Whether it's here, I'm gonna rib cage down, knuckles long, nice and controlled too. I don't like to rush this stuff. You can see how my wrists are straight. This is where a lot of people mess up on. So I might go do 12 reps, maybe even 15 reps with quality form, hold at the end for like 5 to 10 seconds. Now my upper back is lit up, right? So I do that before I do my actual set. So let's say I hit my set, 3, 5, whatever it may be. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is do some type of mobility drill. So it might be scapular cars, right? So I'm here, protract, elevate, pull back, depress. Just get that scap moving, which is again, in the bench where we're locking it down. So this can feel good. Also thoracic, any type of thoracic rotation. And we're just gonna do standing ones to not go down and around, because I might do a windmill, right? I might do a bretzel, but I could also just do locking myself down, doing thoracic rotations. Right, and there's a lot of different, again, ways that I can do that. So then before I would go into that bench press again, I would do my band pull aparts again. And maybe they'd be lower, maybe I'd be palms up. Again, you can do face pulls. There's a number of different things that we could do. Just in general makes your shoulders feel better, puts you in better positions. I may do some breathing drills to get that rib cage down for some people, more positional breathing. Again, there's a number of different things, and I got tons of mobility drills that you can check out that come when it comes to thoracic mobility, shoulder function, and things like that, right? And bam, I'd go back. So if I had 4 sets of 3, 4 sets of 4, I would go activate, do my set, do my mobility drill, have my rest in between, repeat, right? And again, this is kind of like our 5th strategy when it comes to lifters, adjusting your lifting based on your anatomy and making sure that it feels better. Not only feels better, but that you get more out of it, right? So make sure to use these. And again, maybe you're going to combine a couple of these, I would say, insights into your next program. But let me know how it feels. And if you want more tips like this to look, feel, perform more like an athlete without the nagging aches and pains, make sure to subscribe to this channel.